Man, even just holding this makes me want to teabag things.
Welcome to Chaos Cortec.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for another 3D print. And this week, I decided to try to make a plasma pistol from Halo. That's right, that little thing that grunts around and fire at you to take down your shields. That thing. Now this is a pretty complex design, and it's actually my first big design in Fusion 360. So this should be interesting. Let's get started. Alright guys, here we are, and these are the files. And yes, this is Fusion 360, so big step up for me. Now let's take a look. This over here is the actual plasma pistol, fully assembled and everything, and then over here are the broken up parts oriented how they should print. And so I kind of had to split this thing up in not a great way, but I think it worked out. There really wasn't a good way to split this in order to get it to print with all of the detail that I wanted it to print with. So what I basically ended up doing was cutting each section into four. Here, I'll open up the body so we can actually see. So this piece I split into four. I just basically split with one line straight through here and then one line straight through here. That way it prints like there's a top left, a top right, bottom left, bottom right. And you can actually see those right over here. So like this piece right here is just this piece right here. So it'd be the bottom left here. And that's actually how I have them named too. So you can kind of see over here. So like this is, well, let's see, top, bottom, left, top, BL. And that's how I have the files on the different websites named as well. And then I did the same thing for the bottom. I split it basically straight through here. And let's see, find bottom full. Straight through the middle there, and then straight through the middle there. That was the best orientation that I could get. And then you won't have any overhangs here. The only piece that I had to print with supports was this front piece right here. And that is just because it, well, you can see it right here. So it prints with those overhanging. So you will need support for this one piece. There really wasn't a way to print that where it didn't need support unless I like cut it through the middle here, but I figured I had enough pieces already, and that was a pretty minimal support needed type of print. The clip is all one piece, and as you can see over here, it prints just standing up like that. And actually I think I flipped it over from this orientation so it prints with less of an angle, but that's good right there. And the nice thing is with all these, the bottom layer is hidden, so you don't actually see the bottom layer on any of these prints. And then the handle I broke into two parts just because if I printed it flat up here, this overhang was a bit much, and so I just split it down the middle. You can see the two parts right there. So all of this was a really easy print, and I will put the amount of time that it took to print each of these in my little printing time lapse right after this, and I'll also put how much filament they took. And then so I printed all of these at 0.3 millimeter layer height, but obviously the better quality you want to go there, the better. I just did it to save on some filament, and I knew we'd be post-processing it anyway, so it didn't need to be as detailed. But if you can go 0.2 or 0.1, it's going to look amazing. But it is perfectly fine at 0.3. And then I also went, I did go 10% infill, and I would actually bump that up a bit. I would go at least 20, just because there were some areas where on the slopes it couldn't quite get there, and so we had to fill in a little bit extra there. But so I would recommend 20%, or if you do go 10%, bump up the number of layers on the top. I would say that you should probably have your warping pretty under control in order to do this print, just because the seams are right through the middle of the print. You will notice them incredibly if there's any warping. And then you may have noticed that I put these little holes here, and then I have pins that connect those holes, and they should be a pretty tight fit. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we assemble it. But if you experience any issues there, you can scale the pins. But this whole thing should just kind of press fit together. So I tried to make it as easy as possible to print and to assemble. And then we're basically just going to glue the whole thing together. So, but if your printer does a good enough job with the tolerances on this, you won't need to glue it. It'll just snap and fit together. All right, guys, so here is the model. Let's get printing. Alright, well here we have the finished print. But basically what we've got here is we've got 4 parts for the top, 4 parts for the bottom, a clip, and 2 parts for the handle. And now I made these tolerances pretty tight, so with this clip you may not need to use the pins, but they're there if you do. And if you scale it at all, the tolerances might be off, so just use the pins and then maybe add some glue. Okay, so let's start putting this together. Alright, so there we have the top pieces together. And now this is the bottom right portion of the top. So let's go ahead and get the handle ready. And how the handle goes is take this top piece first. It's got the pins on either side. And this switch right here goes up, like the bulky side of it points towards the top of it. And then now these tolerances are really tight as well. So I'm just going to slide those in. And don't be afraid to give it a good push. So let's go ahead and stick the pins in for the bottom of the handle. Boom, right there, we've got the handle. So I think this is the point where we'll want to bring in the clip. And again, these tolerances are tight, so, and I mean that's not going anywhere either. So use the pins if you need to, but sometimes you won't need to. Now this one, I'm going to use a pin right here to attach to this piece. So we'll just slide that in place, and boom, there we've got the top part of the gun done. We can put pins here. Okay, well, there is the top half of it done. And there are some pretty bad seams here, but that was due to a little bit of warping I had with my printer, so you may not experience ones these bad, but I am going to fix these up in the post-processing. Alright, and then take your last few pins and snap on the bottom piece here. Now we're going to do some post-processing to get rid of these seams and just make it look better overall, and then my wife is going to paint it and make it look really nice. So we'll check back when that is done. Alright guys, I just got this back from my wife. She finished painting it, so let's take a look. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at the details on the handle here. She even like scuffed it up like it is in the game to make it look like it's a little more used. She did a pretty good job of getting the seams out, so I was pretty impressed with that. And here is the other side. Looks beautiful. That's the back. Here's the switch. And then here is the front. Man, even just holding this makes me want to teabag things. Just kidding. I'm not one of those douches. You know who you are. Yep, here we go, guys. Isn't this freaking awesome? And you'll notice it is pretty freaking big. And now I feel like it's even maybe a little too big for even what Spartans would be using, because it doesn't look that big in the game, but I guess I don't really know what how big Spartans are. But it does fit pretty comfortably in the hand. And by the way, this model is completely scalable, so you should be able to scale it down without any issue. So if you want one that'll fit your hand, maybe scale it down by maybe a fourth, go 75% of the original size, and I think it would be perfect to fit a human hand. So this is freaking awesome, guys. I love Halo, and while this isn't one of my favorite weapons, it's definitely one of the most iconic Covenant weapons for sure. And then my wife did an amazing job painting it. And if you would like me to go into more details on how this was painted, or how to paint 3D prints in general, let me know. I can make a video about that. Basically, all we're doing with these 3D prints is, you know, we sand a little bit here and there to make it look better than the printer could make it look. And then we prime it, or she primes it, and then she applies her paint and then some sort of finish. This one she actually airbrushed a lot of it, and she actually used caulking, like they would use for your house, to seal up like baseboards and stuff like that, and to fill in these cracks. And it did pretty well. She said it receded a little bit, and that's why you can still see them. But I think it looks perfect. And then I think she sprayed some sort of glossy finish on it. So I mean, it's those three basic steps: prime it, paint it, finish it with something. And that's really what she does. And not to make it sound like it's easy, because it's not. You need a great deal of artistic ability to be able to do this. So if you have that ability, this is what you're going for. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you thought this was cool, or if you just like Halo. And if you're wondering what to watch next, boom, right over here, this corner. Click that little eye, and then make sure you subscribed if you have not. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and brand new 3D prints every Monday. So make sure you get subscribed, and that way you won't miss any of my videos. And then links, as always, to these files are down in the description. Pick your favorite site down there. And then I think it's about time for next week's preview, so let's check that out. This one's a little more cryptic, but it's going to be awesome. Alright guys, thanks for joining me. See you next time.